Hello and welcome to this episode of Voices of Fostering. Now, you may not be aware that the National Fostering Group partner with the Duke of Edinburgh's award, the DofE, to offer bronze, silver and gold awards to our young people and foster parents' birth children aged between 14 and 24. It builds confidence, skills and aspirations through activities like volunteering, physical and expedition challenges. Now, I'm delighted today to be joined on the podcast by John, who heads the DofE expeditions and other amazing opportunities. So welcome, John. Hello.
Hello, Helen. Hi there.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's lovely to have you on. So, John, can you just start by telling us about your history with the Duke of Edinburgh, really? How long have you been involved? How did you get into it? Tell us all about it.
Well, it started probably about 30 years ago when I've been teaching outdoor education in various forms, is everywhere from like freelance instructor to expedition leader. And for about 20 of those years, I worked in education. So I worked in FE, HE colleges and schools as well. So I've kind of always known about Duke of Edinburgh Award. And then when I came out of full-time education, I started working for expedition companies and outdoor centres as a expedition DofE expedition supervisor and assessor, and then it just built from there really. And I went to work for the DofE for a couple of years as an operations officer, and then when I left there, I kind of joined NFG part-time, and I was working part-time in a school as a DofE manager as well. My daughter's done it, so I've seen it as a parent as well. So I've seen it from lots of kind of angles, etc. So I was really kind of excited about kind of getting involved with NFG and offering it to a different group of participants, really.
Yeah. And I think the Duke of Edinburgh Award is a bit of a household name, but for anyone who maybe doesn't understand, what does it involve, John?
Well, it's been around now for nearly 70 years next year. So it involves sections, 4 types of activities, 5 at gold. So you have to do your volunteering, physical and skill activity and an expedition at bronze, silver and gold. And at gold, there is an extra section which is a residential section where they go away and they focus on one activity for a week or so doing that. And it's different time scales. You start at 14 to kind of do bronze, or year 9 when you're at school. So it could be 13, 14. And then you can kind of work up through the bronze, silver and gold till you're 24. There's a cutoff of 24. But you kind of do those, you can start at any level as well. So if you kind of missed out or didn't feel it was for you at 14, you can come in and do it. You can start silver at 16 if you wanted to, or even gold at 16 if you really wanted to, if you felt more comfortable doing it there. But really, the award hasn't changed since it was brought out, 70 years ago. You have to do some volunteering for a certain amount of time. That time gets increased as you go up the levels. So for bronze, you may do 3 months. For silver, you may do 6 months. And then for gold, you may do 12 months. So you do your volunteering, physical and skills, and then generally you do your expedition on the end. And the expedition is slightly different for each level as well. So and you can kind of do what you want for the different sections. So where we talk about volunteering, there's lots of different kind of things to do for it. Everything from helping out old people on the street, or young people on the street. It's helping out at the clubs that they go to, volunteering with older, younger groups. So they kind of learn to be coaches, with dance club, working with the juniors, or just helping the club out behind the scenes, working in charity shops, things like that. So there's a whole host of different things. The same goes for the physical and the skills as well. So there is a huge amount of choice of kind of different activities. And obviously, as more activities develop over the years, they've become part of it as well. So DJing, you can do that for your skill as well. Wow. So that was never in there 70 years ago, but it is now.
Yeah.
So it's evolving slightly.
Yeah, you're moving with the times. Brilliant. So you're now offering this to children and young people in foster care, and also their foster parents' birth children as well. So how did that collaboration come about, and why did you feel it was so important to do?
Well, about 99% of young people who get involved in the Duke of Edinburgh Award do it through school. And, our young people who go into care, they don't necessarily have that kind of opportunity because they move schools or they may move placement. Well, they just feel it's not for them. They start a school, they don't necessarily have developed the friend groups when they go to schools, so they don't have the opportunity or don't feel like they want to sign up. So that's why we offer more of a bespoke program. They can sign up at any time. Most of the kind of stuff they do in schools is they sign up in September, October, and then they work through on an annual basis. They can come to us at any time. So if they're not ready in September, but they kind of feel ready in January, they can sign up with us and they can play catch up, and we offer that opportunity to them. So that's why it's there. But then the things that you said at the start, the things, we don't want our young people to miss out on these opportunities because they do help develop resilience and, kind of work on their well-being, to help develop, good physical activity programs for their life, So it's all those things. We just didn't want them to miss out, really. And it is a fantastic thing. It's a globally recognized program, so they can go anywhere in the world. And if they want to go to university, if they want to kind of go in and get a job, they've got a certificate where they can sit there and they can hand over the certificate. And, not 9 times out of 10, the people sat in front of them who are interviewing them will have done DofE, will know about DofE. Somebody will have done it in their lives. So it gives them that opportunity to kind of have a nice, relaxed conversation without that kind of pressure of a normal interview. So hopefully it will get them through the door, and kind of give them some sort of common thread to talk about.
Yeah. And you talked about some of the benefits there, but what benefits do you see after the award's finished? Not just obviously for any children or young people doing it, you'll see benefits, but particularly for children or young people who have been looked after, have been in the care system. How can it help them?
It helps them because it kind of takes them out of the bubble, and they are just one of 300,000 young people who sign up to do DofE. They're not somebody who's in care. They're not kind of the one who's not doing DofE at school. It kind of just, I know it takes away the label, but it does give them another label because they're a DofE participant. But that's a positive one, isn't it? And it kind of just changes them that, and it kind of allows them to kind of sit in the community as well. So when they do their volunteering, it kind of gives them that reach out to kind of where they're now based or where they're kind of centered now. So this volunteering section gives them that. The physical kind of works on their well-being and their fitness. But the skill obviously gives them something that they can develop and might be something that they've always wanted to try and never obviously had the opportunity. So there are a massive range of it. For our young people, it's just an opportunity to kind of maybe meet people who are in the same situation from different areas. So when I run an expedition, it may be that I have young people from different agencies and just run it centrally. So they get that opportunity to actually talk informally through a shared experience with other people in care. So there's that advantage as well. But I think the flexibility of the program is the key one, is they're not part of a conveyor belt. They work with me, I kind of try and mentor them through the program, and also the DofE leaders in the agencies help them kind of go through that process. So they get to talk to people about different things rather than, the kind of usual things. They're worried about school, they're worried about their care situation. They can actually just talk about DofE and focus on that. So it's a really positive thing for them going forward.
And what sort of feedback, John, do you get from foster carers about these opportunities? What do they say about it?
They love it because they kind of see a difference. I've got a group that I've doing gold this year that I've worked with since they just did bronze. So I've kind of worked with them all the way through. So it's been a really nice positive experience for me and for them to kind of work close together to kind of work through this. And the carers kind of see that, and the kind of feedback when I meet them, prior to taking them on expedition, they tell me what they've been up to, how they've kind of changed, how they're a little bit more outgoing, and they've kind of tried to do more things. But I think with the carers, it gives them something to talk about with the young person, so something really positive, and with me to kind of work through it. The carers really like it, and I love working with the carers because they are such positive people, and they really want the best for our young people, and they see that through DofE. They see that there's an opportunity for them to progress and kind of get something positive done, and just try different things, really.
Yeah. So, John, do you see the Duke of Edinburgh in practice having a real impact on the outcomes of children in care?
Yeah, I mean, the DofE's done its own kind of feedback and research, and the things like well-being, which is a massive thing these days, physical exercise and the kind of grounding in the community, which is all things I think are really key to our young people going forward. And I think that's, a fantastic thing if they've got this kind of belonging at last, and yeah, I think we've just got to keep developing it. We've got to keep kind of get the young people going with it, and help them kind of go, do the things they want to do. If they want to go to university, it's a fantastic thing to kind of put on your CV to kind of go through, or your application for that as well.
You know what, John, you're absolutely right what you just said there. You cannot underestimate the sense of belonging. That is so important, isn't it? And that's what DofE gives young people.
Yes, definitely. And one of the key things is the teamwork, because when they do their expedition, they're in a small bubble. They don't necessarily have the kind of Wi-Fi contact that they normally do. They're in this bubble. They've got jobs to do. They've got to navigate. They've got to look after each other. They've got to be able to put their tents up. They've got to be able to cook their food. So they're kind of working together. And the groups that I'm working with, try to stay together as they go through. So if they've done bronze in a group, they try and sort of, the first question is, can we do this as silver together? And, the gold group I've got is kind of developed as well through, some of them have worked together at silver, and now they're kind of working through a gold process. And that's fantastic, isn't it?
John, it's been lovely to speak to you. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us, and keep up the good work.
Thank you. I will do. I love it. And hopefully the young people will continue to love it as well.
Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Voices of Fostering. If you'd like to find out more, head online and search National Fostering Group and make this the year you foster.